Hello everyone and welcome to my Should I on The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is a game developed by Nicalis Inc. and Edmund Macmillan, which you might know from a very famous game called Super Meat Boy, or most obviously the original Binding of Isaac game. Now, The Binding of Isaac has had quite a history, is a very beloved game, and now they remade it, call it Rebirth, or well, added a rebirth, and here it is. Here's a new game. If you don't know about the original game, I will tell you about it in a second. First, let's head into the options menu. Not much to see here. You can change the sound values. You do have a map this time, like a proper map inside of the game, and you have this filter option which just pixelates or depixelates the game. I prefer to have it on because I'm not a big fan of pixelated graphics. Controls, not much to change here. It is a hand-drawn game. It is a 2D game, so there's not much to see in the options menu, like graphics wise. And I'm gonna head straight into the game. As you see, you have a continue options for those of you that already know the original game. Yes, you can actually stop a game and change the settings, and or just exit the game, start the game again, which to me is great, because otherwise you sometimes had to if you wanted to make a full run of the game, it took you about 45 minutes up to an hour, depending on how fast you are and how much you actually explored. This time around, it's about the same length, but you can just break it down into smaller sections because you can continue the game. That's great. I love it. I love that feature, and there's much about this game that I love. This is the character selection menu. You have different characters, some of them new, some of them old. Isaac, Magdalene, Cain, Judas, you should know them, Eve as well, and Samson. Now you have Azazel, I'm sorry, and Lazarus. I also got Eden. You can unlock him when you finish the game completely. Spoiler warning, I will talk about some of the things that you will encounter in the late game, in the end game especially. So if you prefer not to hear that, I am so sorry. I will try to keep it as brief as possible. But yeah, very first spoiler, if you finish the game once, that's not it. You will get access to several other dungeons and levels, which is great and very cool. And one of the things that you can unlock is Eden, one of the characters. I played him, I sucked, and I really didn't know what his special abilities were. I'm just gonna start out with Isaac. To my left you can see to the left you can see the win streak, which is -12. So yeah, I have died the last 12 games without winning a single one of them. However, the second run I actually did in Rebirth, I completely finished the game. The third run through, I finished the game, including the hell. Yes, literally hell. I finished hell. I didn't go to Eden yet, so we're looking forward to that. Also, something very new is the hard mode, which actually makes the game harder, and not simply by giving the enemies larger health bars, but by throwing harder enemies sooner, like right from the start. And I find it very difficult, to be honest. Which is why my win streak is -12, because before this video I played most of the games on hard. Is hard necessary? I don't know. I don't know if there are unlocks on hard that you can't find on normal, and I'm quite eager to find out about that. Also, you have this screen which has something to do with seeds. I have no clue what this is about. Maybe we'll find out in this video. But yeah, I played this version for about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, so I have had quite an overview of the new Isaac game, Binding of Isaac game. The original I played for about 200 something hours, so I do know my way around. So yeah, what is the game? It's an action RPG with rogue rogue-like elements, and lots of rogue-like elements. There is there's permadeath. There is permadeath, I think, is the most obvious rogue-like feature. Also, randomized levels, randomized item drops, randomized trinket drops, which is something like an item, and randomized almost everything. The only thing that's not utterly randomized is the sequence of levels that you encounter. So first you go through the basement, then, I think it can be the basement, it can be the cellar, and then you go through the depths and stuff like that. So you will see that in a couple of minutes where you're headed to. The bosses are randomized, so every section has a certain range of bosses that you encounter at the end of the level. What is the game about? So story-wise, there's not much to it. There's several interpretations to it. Oh, this is a great item. And okay. Yeah, story-wise, like the idea is Isaac, flees from his mother into the basement, and there, because she wants to kill him. That's the shortest I can give you. The Duke of Flies. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that, to click that away. And he flees, and he encounters tons of monsters and tries to go from screen to screen, kill the boss, and in the end he tries to kill his mother. Now, if you want, it depends on how you look at the story. It could be that it's all imaginary, it could be that it's all real. It is a bit weird, and I thoroughly enjoy that, because what happens is that the enemies do seem to be manifestations of Isaac's fears. That's how I interpret the game. Am I right? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know either. So yeah, I just found an item. The items improve certain abilities of mine. Okay, I'm pretty sure that I can break that. I should have picked that up sooner. So they improve my abilities. Some of them are passive, some of them are active abilities. Balls. And there's tons of hidden stuff in the game, so I'm gonna try and see if I can maybe break this wall, because nope, didn't do anything. Sucks to be me. Whoop, 2 more bombs, great. One secret, for example, one type of secret is these stones that have a small axe on them can be broken and will generally drop something, in this case a grey heart, which works as a shield. There are tons of, not really mechanics, but tons of things to explain in this game. So here on top you will see the progression of maps that I will encounter until I get to the boss. You see Isaac shivering in fear because of his dreams, ideas, thoughts, whatever. So I think it's all in his head. And as you can see, there's lots of blood. There's lots of, well, his attack he's actually attacking via tears, so it's a bit awkward. It's a bit difficult to talk about everything that's in this game, because some of it has to be shown rather than talked about. What I can tell you though is very addictive. This game is crazy addictive. Like I said, the original I played for about 200 hours. I'm really looking forward to playing this game just as much, and I hope that I won't, because I do have other stuff to do, and I don't want to be called a maniac or addicted. But yeah, I guess I might be, because yeah. Okay, I just got another familiar, so there are familiars in this game which help me out. You have the passive and active items. You will encounter items which you can activate yourself, which, for example, attack all the enemies on screen or drop a bomb or stuff like that. So there is lots and lots to this game. And the idea is very basic. You go from screen to screen and try to make progress. Is it easy? It is absolutely not easy. If you remember, maybe, which came out a couple of months ago, I guess, or was it last year? I'm a bit lost, to be honest. Risk of Rain. It's on the same kind of level. So in the beginning you will die quite a lot. You will see the same screen over and over again, and over time you will find that you get an idea of how your weapon works, of its abilities, of your abilities, and you will see more and more. So it is a very, very, very skill-based game. So, do I recommend it? If you're a newcomer, you haven't played the original game, yes, very much so. It is a very good game, it is very addictive, there is tons of stuff to do, and the only thing that I might say that could make a person not like this game is the art style. It is very... well, it is a bit disgusting, yeah. That's, in all honesty, that's it. It is very disgusting. You will encounter mucus, you will encounter bile, blood. You can see me fighting shit. So, and you will find pee as well in the game. So another passive item, speed up, size down, tons of stuff like that. So you will encounter very gross and very disgusting things. And if you feel a bit queasy with this kind of stuff, you might not find the game too enjoyable. Oh, another boss, that's great. Oh jeez, and I think he has a very cool drop, so let's see if I can finish him off. Now the thing about this game is that you can't leave a room unless you killed everything on screen, which makes for a really hard game because you have to face certain enemies. Also, the game is very high risk, high reward based, so unless you take certain risks at certain situations, you won't be able to survive because you just have to try stuff out. Oh, that's great. Oh, the rock, lump of coal, my Xmas present. I think that improves my damage. I'm not quite sure though. That's one of the things I don't like about this game, is that it doesn't always tell you what the items do. Especially with trinkets, which are passive items, which I then see in my lower left corner. They don't always explicitly tell me what they do. And I find that a bit annoying because I've played the game for about 200 hours. Like, I already told you that. There's no surprise to that. However, there is still tons of stuff that first of all, I haven't seen, but that I have seen and still don't quite understand. And I find it a bit annoying that I always have to look up the Binding of Isaac Wikia page just to make sure that I know what I'm using right now. It's not horrible, it is a bit annoying. Oh, Flaming Tears, that sounds cool, haven't seen that before. So yeah, there's tons of stuff that's new to the game that is great. Apart from like minor gripes, or to some people major gripes, like not knowing what the items do, or having to face this very, very out of the ordinary art style and setting. Apart from that, the game is very enjoyable. If you're looking for a game that's very skill based, that's really where you really can get your like skills tested and really see, okay, how far can I get this time, how good am I doing, how long is it taking me to progress. If you're looking for that kind of game, this is that kind of game. If you enjoy roguelike games or games with roguelike elements, this is your game. If you're new to the scene and want to try a new roguelike, this might be your game. However, if you prefer simpler games, easier games, this game does take quite a while to get into. Oh great, the skeleton key, that is so handy. So if you don't wanna, like, one session, like I said before, can take up to 45 minutes, 1 hour, if you want to go from beginning to end. Luckily nowadays you can save your progress, but still you will find yourself captivated by this game. I'm having such a great run. This feels so good right now. However, I am playing on normal, so on hard I would be struggling much more. And now I want to address some of the things they changed about the game, some of the things that you might be interested in knowing if you already have played the original one. So, what is new in the Binding of Isaac Rebirth? First of all, as you can see right now, they they improved the frames per second. So this is playing at a solid 60 frames per second. I haven't had any real drops. If you used to play in a way that you were very dependent on slowdown, you will have a very bad experience because the game doesn't have any slowdown anymore, at least not on my rig. You can check it in the description what kind of system I'm using currently. I got a new computer, so it feels great, and the game feels great. I don't know what I just bought. That sentence implies it. There are tons, and I mean tons of new items, new drops, new surroundings. They redesigned everything, at least visually. It looks stunning. The music is a lot more haunting than in the original. I quite like it. And they included these big rooms. I'm gonna open up the map. Yes, you have a timer on top. You have those bigger rooms. Some of them are just not as cube-like. They mostly included new items though. New items, new enemies, new bosses. There is tons of new stuff. And so if you're looking for something new, the game does provide new things, new everything, to be honest. However, is it worth the asking price? That depends on how much you loved the original, and I mean love because I have to say that I loved the original. I had a lot of fun with the game. There is new stuff to it, but if it's enough, hard sell. The game is currently out on Steam for $40.99. Excuse me, for $40.99. And I very much would recommend this game. Even if you played the original. If you played the original even close to as much as I did, and if you try to get every item, you probably... Oh Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on? Ah, crap. Having the hiccups right now. So if you enjoyed the original game as much as I did, you will find this game is definitely worth the asking price. More than definitely. If you spend 20 hours on the original game, even if it was just 20 hours, and you want to see, okay, maybe this time I'll spend more time on it, if you're that kind of gamer, you will find that it is worth it. Like, this is a very... Yeah, this is one of the trinkets. I don't know. It feels lucky, so I guess it is. It improves my luck. So yeah, if you feel that you really want to just grab onto this game and play it for hours and hours, you will have tons of fun with it. I swear. So what did they change apart from what I showed you already? You have a proper gauge of how what your speed is, your shooting range, your amounts of stuff. I think to the XEWS in the lower left corner has to be something like a password. I haven't quite figured that one out. So yeah, you can resume your games after finishing them, after ending them. They included tons of stuff. You might even hear that I am using a controller right now. So yes, you are able to use a controller. You can use both sticks, which I find a bit uncomfortable because when I want to shoot left from shooting right, it's a bit itchy. But you can shoot via the buttons, the face buttons as well. And it plays really, really... Whoa, I have a new... Didn't know about that. New item. That's great. Charged attack. So yeah, they did include tons of new stuff. The controller support without any third-party tools like Joy2Key or something like that is great. It's much more enjoyable with a controller. It's still playable via keyboard. If you prefer it with the keyboard, no problem. It's just I prefer it with a controller. It feels a bit more natural. And I'm really glad that this game turned out as good as it did, because that's always the problem with a remake, that it might not have enough going for it, that you really need to invest in it. And this game, I feel, doesn't fall into that trap. It is still the same game, so this is kind of like a Call of Duty situation where they have a good game and try to improve on it and don't change too much about it. So yeah, they kind of did it and kind of didn't, but because the mechanics are the same. You still walk around from screen to screen, kill everything, but the details changed enough for it to feel different. Like I said, the frame rate. I finally have a button so I can drop my trinkets or pills if I have something that I don't want to accidentally take, which is very useful. It helped me out a lot. From what I've seen so far, I've had quite a nice amount of items that I really didn't want to hold on to, and it's just really useful to finally be able to just drop the items. One tip though, if you've played the game, you have to hold the button. That's a bit awkward, was for me at the beginning because I didn't quite know how to drop the items, but yeah, it's just you have to hold the item. You have these new doors, you have new treasure chests, you have new enemies, new items, new rooms. I have no idea what this bed does. Still don't know, nothing is explained. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes some games it's good, and some games it's bad. It's quite nice. You also have randomized rooms which do look like dice, and I don't know what they are about, but they seem to randomize the game. So tons of new stuff, tons of very interesting things to find out. If you played the original, you enjoyed it, you will enjoy this game as well. So the game is currently out on Steam for 14.99 euros, or the original equivalent. I mentioned that earlier already, but I'm repeating myself just in case. And I very much enjoy it. I'm having tons of fun, and I hope I will manage to 100% this game, because with the first one I didn't manage to, and I just love to. This was it for me for today. I hope you guys had fun with my video, had fun watching, and you guys go and play some video games. I'll try to do the same. See you guys next time. Bye bye.